Welcome back, everybody, to the final round of Swiss here at the Versus Games League Challenge here in Oviedo, Florida. I'm Joe Carlino, still on the call for you guys, and it looks like everybody wants to cast with me because I got my bud Riley Wilcox here. Riley, what's going on, man?
I got my butt kicked on stream. I decided, come over here and help you out on the desk. We have two really, really strong players on stream right now. We have Kerry D'Ortona and Patrick Connors.
We got Patrick Connors.
Here.
We have Patrick on stream, and he was just on cast 2 rounds ago.
Yes, he was.
Now, of course, they may be good players themselves, but they're not like us. They're not like us, otherwise they'd be here.
Yeah, we're so good right now. Look, we don't have to play a game. We're just enjoying ourselves, watching some great quality games,
But again, as we said, it's Kerry D'Ortona, the wonder kid for the Florida VGC scene right now, versus Patrick Connors, who up until NAIC 2024, it's not hyperbole to say he wasn't really known. And then you win a tournament like NAIC, and suddenly everybody knows you.
Yeah, for real. And then we also have like the dynamic between these two players, where Patrick almost is like, I wouldn't say coach, but almost like a what's the word?
Mentor.
Mentor. Exactly.
Mentor-student relation. He's like mustard, and Kerry is the cub food that we have to acquire.
Correct, yeah. And as we see, I believe, actually, have an Urshifu on both teams.
Oh, right. We do have Urshifu on both sides. So it really does add up there. We also do see that there is an Incineroar on both sides and a Raging Bolt on both sides.
Shocker.
I mean, honestly, Incineroar, though, everybody loves Wolf Glick's favorite Pokemon. It is Wolf Glick's favorite Pokemon for a reason.
Pretty good. And we do see actually a really interesting innovation on Patrick's team. Seeing that Terrapug and Incineroar.
Ooh, Terrapug Incineroar is very interesting. And also, both of our Incineroars on these trainers, they're running the Rocky Helmet item, so that actually helps out in the Urshifu matchup. When we look at Kerry's team, once again, because Kerry was on stream earlier against Abdullah, and that was a very fun matchup with a little bit of unfortunate, status conditions, and Draco misses and Draco Meteor critical hits and everything. But Kerry's team really centers around that Life Orb Calyrex Shadow Rider. And Riley, you're on Calyrex Shadow Rider. You enjoy it.
I have played this exact 6 before. This Kerry was kind of at the same pace. It is a very strong team. When you have the support of the double fake out, and then you also have the really strong redirection opportunity with Ogerpon, and then just some extra kill potential in the Urshifu, it's a really hard team to strike a weakness at. It's really, really well built, and it's hard to kind of catch a free turn, but kind of get that Calyrex and compromise.
Exactly, because sometimes when it comes to that Calyrex Shadow Rider, you want to have it set up early, or you just want to click buttons. You just want to click. It's click buttons now, ask questions after I've thoroughly beat you down.
Because contrary to popular belief, Astro Barrage, if you pick up a KO, is also a setup move.
And if we look at Patrick Connors' team, Riley, if I'm not mistaken, this looks very familiar to NAIC, doesn't it?
Yes.
Are we back in New Orleans?
We are seeing a big lack of a bird here, however.
No bird!
We're also seeing Terra Poison Calyrex Ice Rider, which has been a thing that we've seen around here a little bit, that I know every one of our players out here is running, which is really strong for this on the list matchup. Unfortunately, I do not have now, and that if you specialize outside of your Astro Barrage, you are weak to the Psychic.
You are weak to the Psychic, but we also do see that his Urshifu, once again, it is that Choice Scarf variant, and it does have coaching.
Yes, it's a really good way to get early pressure and some really on that Calyrex to get staying power and kill potential to make or boost and snowball that Glacial Lance and that Chilling Mane.
And even still, with Urshifu having that coaching, you could do something like maybe even on the Ogerpon, really buff up Ogerpon Cornerstone, which normally is a decent Pokemon, but then its Terastallization gives it a physical defense boost.
Yeah. It might also be seen that maybe you'll see some coaching on some of those combats better, but since we're getting into the game.
And one of these trainers is going to make it to top cut, Riley. Yeah. Will it be Patrick or will it be Kerry?
I don't know. If these are both really strong players, and we are seeing Raging Bolt and Kerry here.
And we do see the booster energy activated on Kerry's side, getting that special attack raised by 30% by the booster energy. What would have been fun, though, is if it was a fast Raging Bolt and it would have been able to get a 50% boost.
Yep. See, we are seeing the Farigiraf switch out, which definitely makes it harder for the what makes it easier for the opposing Raging Bolt, because now you can go for those Thunderclaps. But now we see our own Raging Bolt hitting the field, which has that same dynamic of do we Thunderclap, do we not?
And we see a close combat come out from the Urshifu. A critical hit on the first turn on Patrick's Urshifu brings Kerry's Urshifu just above 1 HP, but we do see a close combat come into the Raging Bolt, doing well over 50%.
That is a lot of damage.
Into the Raging Bolt. Both Urshifus have lower defenses, but a Thunderbolt comes out here. This is 4 times resisted, but even with that booster energy, it did a lot of damage there, Riley.
Yeah, it did. With the Raging Bolt at such low HP, it's a very easy pickup for that Calyrex Shadow Rider that's definitely in the back here. So that we could see that almost be preserved for a free boost, almost like a little health pack, if you wanted to keep that alive, or we could take it out now so it doesn't threaten your back mod.
And what's important to note here is that Patrick does have that Farigiraf in the back. If Carry decides to go for a Thunderclap into the Urshifu, now that it's -1 and has the Choice Scarf, Urshifu will definitely go down because it's -1 on its defenses, but conversely, that prevents Urshifu from getting an attack on.
Yeah, we are seeing the Urshifu actually switch out for that Calyrex, which I think is a really good call because you are immune to that close combat, and I don't know if Surging Strikes or Aqua Jet is going to do enough to threaten it, especially because that Raging Bolt is such in a compromising position that staying on board and clicking that Thunderclap is hard. And we're seeing Terastallization.
And it's fitting that we're coming up on Valentine's Day because this Raging Bolt is feeling the love as a fairy type.
Yes,
now.
it is, which definitely gives it a benefit into front of the other Raging Bolt, resisting those close combats, which actually goes into the Calyrex slot being immune, and then the Draco Meteor going into the... Oh, wow, also going into the Calyrex, which is dodged.
That is massive for the 90% accuracy, but we do see the Thunderbolt come out here. Going for Thunderbolt instead of going for Thunderclap, potentially predicting a Farigiraf switch in on the Raging Bolt there, but Urshifu goes down on Patrick's side, and Carry is suddenly up 4-3 right now in this game number 1.
And there's a lot more damage on Patrick's side of the board right now. We are seeing that healthy Farigiraf definitely pose a threat to that Calyrex being not able to damage it with the Astral Barrage or the Psychic very strongly. And we are also seeing there is no foul play, so the Farigiraf can't really damage it back either.
No, it cannot. But what's important to note here is that because the Terastallization is still up on Patrick's side, you can go for a Thunderclap with the booster energy there.
And that is a lot of damage.
You get the Astral Barrage off here. Raging Bolt will go down on Patrick's side, and now it'll come down to how much will Farigiraf take from the Raging Bolt, because I believe Farigiraf might be going for something like a Trick Room, and if it goes for Trick Room, I think we know what Pokemon is in the back.
Yeah, so Calyrex Ice Rider would be very threatening if we do see that Trick Room, which I imagine we do. This Thunderbolt is going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting. That is a lot of damage, and that is a strong paralysis.
It gets a paralysis there. It's a I believe a 25% chance.
And there's the Trick Room.
But the Trick Room comes out, I believe it was 25% chance to not move on that turn. If it didn't move and Trick Room didn't get set up there, that
might have been a sealed game.
And we do see that Patrick's final Pokemon is his fabled Ice Rider.
We do. It looks very poised to take away this game while it is in Trick Room. Carry does still have a lot of pieces to pivot with, and that Terra Fairy is definitely going to make it a little bit easier to take those Glacial Lances.
And what's important to note here is that Patrick, I believe, like we said, he still does have access to his Terastallization here. He's also holding the Clear Amulet. Now, on Carry's side, he does not have a way to burn the Calyrex Ice Rider, which would be massive.
Yeah. However, the Flare Blitz has a chance to, but I think that's a little bit too risky to go for. We do see the Paralysis proc on the Farigiraf, which I don't know how impactful is to this board state, but we are seeing a big old Glacial Lance do a good amount to that Raging Bolt.
And we do see the Thunderbolt come out into the Farigiraf here, knocking out Farigiraf, and more importantly, opening up the Calyrex to not only get hit by Thunderclap, but get hit by Fake Out.
Correct. We are seeing a really strong Fake Out turn here where we can... There's obviously the Protect here, but going for Fake Out Thunderbolt, there's no counterplay to that right now.
There really isn't, but we do see the Protect come out, just scouting out the Fake Out and the Thunderbolt play. Now, I am curious as to how much damage this Thunderbolt would have done to the Calyrex. It would do a decent amount because of the 30% boost with the booster energy.
Yep.
But I just wonder how much it really would have done. And also, with the Helping Hand, because we did see Helping Hand potentially going to be the move of choice on the Farigiraf when it got paralyzed.
Yes. We're definitely seeing that maybe that Helping Hand was going to pick up the Raging Bolt and maybe open this game up a little bit. But with the combination of Flare Blitz and Thunderbolt, I don't even know if Terra would save you.
I don't know either, but also important to note here, Carry's Incineroar was slower.
High Burst Power also noticeably did not take that KO from about half HP. This is really important information going into Game 2.
It is, because that final Thunderbolt, but what was important to note there on that last turn, Riley, Incineroar went before Calyrex.
Yes, I do know this, that on this team in specific, the Incineroar has negative speed investment, not as in a negative nature, but has 27 EVs. IV, sorry. So it is intended to underspeed the Calyrex in Trick Room.
If it's got a perfect IV.
Well, if it has a non-perfect IV, it will underspeed in Trick Room.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is a massive play by Carry, and that's good information, Riley.
Yes, it is.
What a way to bring that to the table that we didn't know that about the Incineroar on Carry's side.
Yeah, because a lot of the Calyrex Ice Riders right now are noticeably not running min speed because of the fact that the barrier can get a little dodgy and benefits the faster Ice Rider outside of Trick Room. So we are seeing these Incineroars reacting being slower than the no negative speed Ice Riders.
Exactly, and sometimes that just proves what, because we all see, like, you know, how you said, min speed on the Calyrex Ice Rider, or even min speed on an Amoonguss, or min speed on a Torkoal, or minimum attack on something like a Calyrex Shadow Rider, so foul play doesn't get as much damage, even though it is 4 times super effective.
Yep.
It's using Calyrex's base attack to deal the damage
Yes, it
instead
is.
of just going with a raw, I believe it's a 90 base power move.
It is 90. It might be 95, but I'm
Might-
not 100% sure.
Might be 95. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but I know that it does big damage using your attack side. That's why most of these special restricted Pokemon, they go with that minimum attack so they don't take
Yeah.
as much damage.
There's definitely an advantage to running less than perfect IVs, especially in, as we saw the case of that Incineroar, going that less than perfect speed, which definitely helps in this matchup. So you can get a Flare Blitz out with Trick Room, or maybe even Parting Shot out before you get high horsepower. But we're seeing the same lead. Well, we're actually not seeing the same lead. We're seeing Raging Bolt double lead, and then we're seeing that Urshifu and that Farigiraf. We're definitely seeing the Farigiraf like to deny this priority play from Carry's side.
Exactly, but we do know that Carry's Raging Bolt does have access to that Terra Fairy, which would negate the Draco Meteor coming from the Raging Bolt, I mean, special attack Raging Bolt will do major damage no matter what.
Yes, and then we're seeing the Farigiraf switch out to Preserve, and we're seeing that Incineroar come in. This is definitely strong because you are lowering the power of those close combats from that Urshifu. However, you're also opening yourself up to Surging Strikes and maybe that huge special attack set that Raging Bolt has.
But we do see a Terra again on Carry's side. He really wants his Raging Bolt to feel the love. I think this Raging Bolt has a crush on Patrick's Raging Bolt right now.
I
by
know,
virtue.
right? We're seeing the heart.
I wonder if it's got him a gift for Valentine's Day.
And that gift is that Thunderclap into the Urshifu.
But it brings it down to Focus Sash, and Urshifu will at least get one attack off. If it goes into that Incineroar slot, though, it
Is
is
going to die to the Rocky Helmet, notably.
that is a massive play by Patrick to bring in the Incineroar and take out Urshifu, but also by getting the Terra used on Carry's side, he can go into the Raging Bolt now pretty freely.
Yeah, we are seeing that Incineroar go down, but it was a really nice gambit to get that Urshifu off the board. We are seeing this Raging Bolt relatively unscathed, but with Thunderbolt, it's going to be able to do relatively good damage to this Terra Fairy. However, the Terra Fairy Raging Bolt does offer that Draco in return, so it is definitely a precarious situation. We are seeing the Farigiraf come back, denying that fake-out pressure.
Denying the fake out, but keeping the knockoff potentially on the Farigiraf here. Now, the Farigiraf is holding the Safety Goggles item, which in a matchup such as this, there is no Ogerpon, there is no Amoonguss.
Yeah,
on the
there is
field.
or something like the Jumpluff, which that would also be very helpful into. But we're not seeing that item get a lot of mileage. We are seeing it as a negative benefit here because you are going to have to take more damage from that knockoff.
But we are seeing that it is a Terra Electric on the side of Raging Bolt here, and we do see Helping Hand come out. This is Helping Hand, Terra Electric. Is it Thunderclap? Or
Thunderbolt.
It's Thunderbolt, actually.
As somebody who's on the returning end of this exact Thunderbolt, I know for a fact this is an Oko.
This is a one-hit knockout into the Incineroar. That is massive damage there.
Yes, it is. This comes very close to Okoing my Calyrex Shadow Rider, which I know is bulkier than Carry, so this might be a one-hit KO if there's enough ability to hit that Thunderbolt into that Calyrex slot. This is looking very scary for Carry. There's a lot of damage that Patrick's Raging Bolt is threatening right now.
It is threatening a lot of damage right now. I mean, the Nasty Plot is a very interesting move that you could do here to set up the Calyrex, but it also can bait out a potential Thunderclap on the Raging Bolt.
Yeah, I do think that this is a really interesting position because if that Thunderbolt does go into that Calyrex, I do believe this to be game. We'll see what... you do see Protect from this Raging Bolt, but I don't know how much that's going to help.
We do see Astral Barrage come out, so Astral Barrage will do damage into this Raging Bolt.
It's going to do a good amount, too, with that Life Orb item. We're seeing about 75%, too. We're seeing that Life Orb chip.
And it is a Thunderbolt into the Raging Bolt, so it protects itself from the damage from that Electric Terra and the Helping Hand and the booster energy. But more importantly, this Calyrex is in a really good position to get a nasty plot on.
I would wager, actually, that after Life Orb chip, that Calyrex might be in Helping Hand Thunderclap range, actually.
That actually would be interesting if Patrick decides to go for that. We do see a Helping Hand come out once again into this Raging Bolt on Patrick's side. It is a Thunderclap, and it fails, which means that he was going
for the nasty plot.
Oh my god, that is huge. The nasty plot coming out here, and a Thunderbolt coming out into the Farigiraf, knocking out the Farigiraf, and more importantly, this Raging Bolt, and I assume it's going to be that Calyrex Ice Rider in the back.
This was a very dominant game by Carry, getting that right call on that Thunderclap. This was a very big 50-50 for the both of them, but Carry comes out on top with that call for the nasty plot in front of the Thunderclap.
Exactly, and now with the Calyrex at +2, this Raging Bolt, even with the Terra Electric, I don't know how much this is going to do to the Calyrex.
We are seeing Protect, but I think we're going to need a Thunderclap crit to bring this one back.
It's possible here. Here comes that Thunderclap. It comes.
That is a critical hit!
It gets the crowd!
Wow.
Oh my god, it got the critical hit! You called it, Riley!
Patrick is back in this game!
He is back! What a play! That Thunderclap gets the critical hit!
You gotta play to all your outs. You gotta play to all your outs.
Oh my god, and we saw this happen with Abdullah in round 2 with Carry.
Yeah, and Carry does see the writing on the wall and does go for that forfeit. That crit is very unfortunate. But that was, Patrick identified that was his only way out into that Game 3 scenario, so he took it and got it.
Again, it's one of those risks. I believe it's a 6.25% chance to get a critical hit now.
I believe so. Like approximately 1 in 27, I believe, which is not high odds.
It's not high odds unless you're using a move with a high critical hit chance, and you have a focus energy, because that's something that I've seen. You know, we saw it earlier in Regulation A with High Dragon for Dundozo matchups. Going for focus energy, Draco Meteor just drops Dundozo.
Yeah. And we also see that 1 in 27 is in fact better than a 0 out of 27. So we are seeing that was Patrick's best option, and he took advantage of it and got that roll. So we're looking to go into a Game 3 scenario here.
How fitting is it, though, that for a win-and-in matchup such as this, between Patrick Connors and Carry D'Ortona, we needed a Game 3. The game said to us and said to our trainers,
we need a Game 3. We need to see more of this matchup.
We need a Game 3. We need this matchup to be 3 games. It can't be a 2-0 between you two. We have the master. We have the protege. Somebody is going to top cut in this matchup, but will it be Carry or will it be Patrick? Game 3, one fall to the finish. Somebody ring a bell.
This is going to decide it.
Somebody ring a bell. We need a bell.
Ding, ding, ding. There we go. Ding, ding, ding. We are seeing that Carry's performance has been very dominant in this matchup. He's been doing a great job denying Trick Room, and Patrick hasn't really been going for that Trick Room option. He's been opting for those Helping Hands. We are seeing a mix-up here going for that Incineroar now on lead versus in the back with that Farigiraf, and we're seeing a similar lead here from Carry with that Urshifu and Raging Bolt.
So that is actually a little bit of a switch up here on Patrick's side. He brings the Incineroar out as a lead instead of the Raging Bolt.
That fake out pressure is really strong and helps you get that Trick Room online, like I was just saying. There's not much you can do to deny that fake out. And as we're going to see, that fake out is going to come out. And we're seeing a Surging Stripes into Farigiraf, but we both know that that is not enough.
That is not going to be enough. But what will be interesting to note here is what did this Farigiraf end up going for? If it goes for the Trick Room here, that's a good play. But it could even go for someone like this Twin Beam.
It could. And we do see the Twin Beam.
And it is Twin Beam. It does big damage. And because it hits 2 times, by virtue of its move, it guarantees 2 hits on any target. It goes through a Focus Sash. It goes super effective. And more importantly, it takes down the Urshifu.
That was a very big turn 1 pickup for Patrick there. However, his Farigiraf does now look like it might be in range of that Thunderbolt, which is a little bit scary when we're coming into a game where you feel like you kind of need Trick Room up.
And also what's important to note here is that Carry cannot go for Fake Out right now as long as Farigiraf is on the field. You could make it at a risk that Farigiraf would switch out and go for a Thunderclap or a Fake Out, but instead you just go for the big damage, get rid of the Farigiraf so your priority moves open up, but in comes a parting shot into the Raging Bolt, lowers its special attack, and that actually goes through the booster energy. So the booster energy raises it by 30% by lowering the special attack by one stage. This Raging Bolt, I think, is running at like 90% of its base special attack.
Yeah, it definitely is putting it in a compromising position where it's not going to be able to do as much damage as we saw it do in these past few games. And we're going to see the knockoff come out into that Bolt, which just used its item, so it's not going to be able to get all that mileage out of that move.
And we do see Incineroar once again come out on the side of Patrick to get that Intimidate off, but also reset Fake Out pressure.
Yes, we do see Fake Out, and we also may be able to see a Parting Shot come back out, but we are seeing Carry really hard focus at Raging Bolt, viewing it as the main threat on the board right now, negating the fact that this Incineroar is putting out a lot of supportive pressure.
Exactly, and I honestly can't be shocked at that right now because the way that Patrick is playing, he has that Fake Out pressure right now in his back pocket. Now, Carry does have access to protect our Raging Bolt here. And
yes, he does.
And Incineroar could even just switch out into Calyrex Shadow Rider here, but even then, you're running the risk of a move going into Calyrex Shadow Rider.
Yeah, I think that we're in a position where it's really up to what the players do to determine how this turn goes. Because like based on the board state alone, it's almost like a pretty even a board position, I would say, where there's a lot of, and then the protect on the Raging Bolt here, cutting me off. We're gonna see the Draco Meteor go into the Raging Bolt and get blocked, while we see a Parting Shot also go in to the Raging Bolt getting blocked, and we're seeing Parting Shot into Carry's Incineroar.
So Carry's Incineroar now is at -2 attack, but Incineroar gets to switch out here, potentially into that Calyrex Ice Rider in the back for Patrick. And if it's Ice Rider, and it is the Calyrex Ice Rider, once again, Patrick bringing out the Ice Horse. This is a really good spot for Patrick right now.
This is, you still have Terra online, which the poison would be a lot less compromising if you were in that Trick Room state. But as we see, maybe we see Trick Room go up here, or maybe we just see some really strong Glacial Lances coming out. However, we are seeing that possible Terra Fairy on Carry's side.
But what's important to note here is, again, this Raging Bolt is -1 on its special attack, which goes through the special attack drop from the Parting Shot. So this booster energy is essentially acting like it never existed. It's running at a lower special attack than it already was prior, as we do see a Terra coming out on the side of Patrick Connors. His Raging Bolt has Terrascalized
Terra Electric, and we saw how much damage this thing can do, especially with a Helping Hand boost.
But now there is no Helping Hand. And all it is another Terrassalization on the side of Carry Diartona. His Raging Bolt seem to really like the Terrestrial Orb in this game.
They do really seem to like that Terrestrial Orb. Flipping your typing is really, really strong. On Patrick's side, we're seeing one with a more aggressive Terra type, and on Carry's, we're seeing one with a more defensive Terra type. And we're seeing that Thunderbolt
and it goes
into the Incineroar.
Does good damage.
Really wow. And another critical hit.
Critical hit, taking out the Incineroar in one hit. That is incredible.
That is massive damage. We're seeing that Draco Meteor come out and notably not kill the Raging Bolt, lowering its special attack even further.
But that would have been crazy if it did get a critical hit there, because then it would have been Calyrex versus the Calyrex and the Raging Bolt. But the Raging Bolt now, it's locked into -3 special attack.
Yeah, and we're seeing this Calyrex come out as the Trick Room goes up. This is a very unnerving position, hence both of these horses having a nerve. We are seeing Thunderclap pressure be pretty scary, but I don't think that Thunderclap is enough to pick up Raging Bolt before it gets to attack on its own.
I don't think so, but this is what's important here. The Thunderclap can come out here. It is boosted by the Terra Electric, and the booster energy does well.
And that does a lot of damage to that Calyrex, and we're seeing that Glacial Lance possibly pick up the Calyrex, and we do, and that does a lot of damage to the Raging Bolt as well.
That is a huge play by Patrick there, getting that Thunderclap off, and gets the Glacial Lance, the Chilling Neigh boost. Here comes the Thunderbolt.
And it's not enough.
It's not enough. And seeing the writing on the wall, that is going to do it. Patrick Connors gets the Trick Room up in game number 3 and defeats Carry Diartona, and Patrick Connors is going to top
that. Raging Bolt loves to crit when it needs to, I'll say that much.
I feel so bad for Carry, getting critical hit both
onto the Calyrex, and a guaranteed win if that does not crit, and then into the Incin, which definitely makes that game a lot harder to win if that crit does not happen.
if that crit doesn't happen, Carey is in a really good position there because I believe he was going for a Thunderclap or a parting shot into Patrick's Incineroar or even into Patrick's Raging Bolt there.
Yeah, and if we saw that Raging Bolt get that drop, that maybe it wouldn't have done enough damage in the end game and maybe have been able to seal something up. And getting that Incin maybe back on the field, and we know that it's slower in Trick Room, which means that Flare Blitz is also putting on a lot of pressure.
Exactly there. Just having Patrick's playstyle, it worked out to him and his advantage, especially in Game 3. We thought he could have gone for a Trick Room there in Game 3, but instead he goes for Twin Beam.
Yeah, he identified he wanted that Urshifu down and fast.
He recognized the threat that Urshifu had. He goes for the fake out on the Raging Bolt, and he just goes for the Twin Beam. He doesn't even care about Trick Room to start Game 3. He cares about getting rid of a major threat that can go and do insane amounts of damage to his entire team with a move that guarantees critical hit. It's a very healthy move for the metagame.
Very, very healthy. Also, we're seeing that maybe the reason that we didn't go for that Trick Room is maybe that Incineroar we've been talking about, fearing that in the back maybe it 1v1s that Calyrex and forces that Terra out early, which the Calyrex could definitely milk late game. But I do think that identifying that Urshifu needed to go down fast with that Twin Beam, and then identifying that Incineroar needed to go down before Trick Room went up was really, really, really intelligent.
Exactly there. And then you just add in the Thunderbolt getting a critical hit. It is unfortunate when a critical hit happens, unless it happens to you.
Yeah.
When the critical hit happens to you, you're happy about it.
Yeah.
But
your opponent, not so much.
Especially a crit paralysis or a crit burn or a crit poison. I don't think there's a critical hit move that guarantees. Oh wait, no, Dire Claw.
Yeah.
But Dire Claw is,
that's another move. That's a story for another day.
But here's the thing that people don't realize about Dire Claw. Pokemon Legends Arceus, that move did have an increased critical hit chance on top of the 50% chance to cause poison, paralysis, or sleep.
We did see a lot of those Legends Arceus moves get nerfed coming out of it because they were definitely overtuned. I mean, Lunar Blessing Cresselia boosting its evasiveness was definitely overtuned, and I'm glad that they did not add that into Scarlet and Violet.
Although technically it was called obscuring in Legends Arceus.
It did work differently.
So it definitely worked a little bit differently. But again, Lunar Blessing, very good move. I believe it is on Abdullah's team, the team that beat Carey in round 2.
Really?
I believe it is on his Cresselia, because Lunar Blessing is just a really good move.
It is a very strong move, removing those statuses. It gives you definitely some more Amoonguss counterplay, some Incineroar counterplay. It's a really, really strong move. We also see moves similar to it like Jungle Healing, which unfortunately cannot be used in VGC because it is a Zuri exclusive.
Well, I mean, technically it can be used.
If Smeargle calls it, you're right.
If Smeargle calls it, but who's running Smeargle in Regulation G?
There's a guy I know named his last name Navarro. I don't know if you're familiar.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
That he might be running Smeargle. There's a different name that I'm thinking of that runs Smeargle. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I don't know if he's running it right now, but I know that Underhill was using it a lot next to Calyrex Ice Rider.
Oh, I mean, now that's actually a good that's a fun combination. It's scary because you get the Decorate off on that Calyrex,
and it is really strong.
And some people don't even know that Smeargle gets access to Decorate.
Yeah, it gets access to everything but Revival Blessing. One thing that is notable, however, is that, I'm experimenting with some weird Smeargle stuff in my personal time. Scarf Smeargle is also really interesting, and I think that we might be able to see some of that pop up maybe sometime. More of a closed team sheet thing, because Scarf Smeargle can actually outspeed standard Miraidon if it's not timid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Scarf Smeargle outspeeds Miraidon.
It does. Giving you Spore that has that fast speed, and you have Decorate that goes before your own restricted is really strong.
Ooh, that sounds so good.
Yeah. Definitely fringe, though, so if you want to win games, don't run it.
Yeah, just run Smeargle with a Muck.
Yeah. Or don't, actually.
or don't. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break to get set up for our top 4 matchups here. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Riley, for joining us for this game. And
thank you, Joe.
And what a performance. What a
for
performance.
Sure.
You did good for your first casting. I do appreciate you being here for this matchup.
Yeah, I was really excited to cast. This is my first one. It was really nice. If I'm good at maybe 2 things in my entire life, and that's like I'm okay at Pokemon, and I'm great at just talking. So,
I mean, as long as you're okay with just talking, that's all that
Yeah.
matters. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break, so don't go anywhere, and we'll be back with top 4 of the League Challenge here at Versus Games.
see you soon.